Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about the highly anticipated Saucony Endorphin Speed 3s. So for those who do not know, the Saucony Endorphin series is one of Saucony's greatest hits. If it was the 2000s and you could have the greatest hits of the 2000s for Saucony, the greatest hits of the 2020s on to 2022 has been the Saucony Endorphin Speed, followed by the Saucony Endorphin Speed 2s, followed by what we're talking about today, the Endorphin Speed 3 series. And let me tell you what, they made some updates on this bad boy. The Saucony Endorphin 3 is a neutral daily trainer shoe that is nylon plated and offers speed roll technology. And might I add, it is very responsive. I wanted to talk about the price point of the Endorphin Speed 3s. The used $160, and for a men's 10.5, we're coming in at about 8.4 ounces or 240 grams. 8.4 ounces, 240 grams, over against version 2 that was about 7.6 ounces, 7.7 ounces. So we've gained a little weight. We have gained a little weight from version 2 to version 3, and we will talk about why. So as we talked about, the Endorphin 3 has gained a little bit of weight, going up a few ounces from the version 2. There's a reason why, and it has to do with the specs of the shoe. So we have in the heel 36 millimeters in the heel, and we have 28 in the forefoot, giving us the 8 millimeter heel to toe drop on the shoe. So this should be noted because over against version 2, we had 35.5 in the heel and 27.5 in the forefoot. So we have increased the stack height of version 3, which has resulted in a heavier weight. So version 3 has a thicker midsole, but also just a thicker stack height as well. So let's talk about the upper on the Endorphin Speed 3. So Saucony has made a significant change to the upper compared to version 2, and in doing so what they've done is that they have made a single layered mesh. They've made it very breathable, very flexible, and they have created something called a form-fit design, or a form-fitted design. And I wanted to compare this over to the version 2s, in that if you look at version 2s from last year, you'll see that on version 2, the upper is a very stiff, like engineered mesh upper, where there is not much breathability, but there's a lot of security here, but there's not a lot of breathability here. And so what Saucony has done is that they have created a single layered mesh that will do the job, that will hold your foot in and still provide good breathability, and yet not have to sacrifice the extra weight that we had with version 2. So that's something to note here. The upper, you have the form fitted design with a single layer mesh, and honestly I really enjoy this because I like the version 2, and version 3 has provided a significant improvement on breathability and just the way my foot feels in the shoe, because it seems to hug my shoe. There's a hugging security there that I feel when I wear this shoe. Over against here on version 2, I kind of felt like I was suffocating a little bit on the upper because of the design. So fits very good, feels very good. You did a good job, Saucony. Really enjoyed this on the upper. Now let's talk about the tongue. So I want you to see this on the tongue. On the Speed 3s, we have what I would call the bat wing, the bat wing design. I really like this design. It is a big tongue. I mean, want to compare it over to version 2, you kind of have the wide and up and narrow, and here you just have the big wide. It's a big bat wing. Now regarding the tongue, it is very thin, so I want you to be able to see this. For you guys that are going to watch this before you go get it, look how thin it is. It's like paper thin. Over against, if you've had the 2s, it's not as thin. So there's not a lot of cushion on the tongue of the Endorphin Speed 3s, but there's a whole lot of the tongue. So that is something that plays a massive role when it comes to your lockdown. So I'll say this about the tongue on the Endorphin Speed 3s is there is too much tongue for me. So we have a semi-gusseted tongue, and yet at the same time, if you notice just how high it comes up on the shoe. So when I locked down and I had just tons of extra tongue hanging out of the top that I didn't know what to do with. So I do believe that there was a lot of extra material for the tongue, and a lot of that could have been just left out. So we dealt with the upper, we dealt with the batwing tongue. Let's deal with the laces. So these laces are super elastic, like very stretchy, and there's a lot of them. There's a lot of lace on these Speed 3s. Again, we're going to do the comparison test. When you begin to look at the laces that we have offered here on the version 2, a big difference too is just how thick they are. They're very light, like super lightweight over against version 2s. Version 2s were very durable. I felt like I could have gone rock climbing with these things and they wouldn't have snapped. Version 3, very long, elastic, and they don't feel near as strong. Nevertheless, they do the job. I was able to, once I did my lockdown, I felt like I had a lot of extra laces. So with that being said, I think the laces are a little bit too long for my preference, and I would like to have seen the same laces on the 2s brought over because I felt like I got a better lockdown with those. So when we deal with the heel counter of the shoe, we need to recognize that there is an update over against version 2. Version 2, we had a little pull tab here. We do not have a pull tab on version 3, but we have like a little turtle shell back here for the support on the heel collar, and there's a decent amount of cushioning on version 2. Now let's look at version 3. There's not as much cushion. So Saucony has removed a lot of the cushion on the heel counter, and that has resulted in a lot of runners experiencing a bunch of chafing, kind of grinding on the back. So much so that runners have been able, they've had to put band-aids on their heels to prevent blisters and stuff. Now I can say from my experience, I have not experienced that, but I have experienced there's just not a lot of cushion in the back. So if you know, remember the Hoka shoe, Mach 5, Mach 4s, a lot of the Hoka shoes that have the heel collar that extends above the Achilles tendon to support your heel, and we don't have that on this. So Saucony seems to have reversed a little bit and gone backwards, and I wish they would have did a better job on the heel collar. Nevertheless, I mean, it did the job. We're going to be moving into the meat and potatoes of the Endorphin Speed 3s, and that is the midsole. As you can see on here, we have the Power Run PB. That is Saucony's bread and butter when it comes to their foam. And so we do have the Power Run PB, and we have a great midsole. Now, I'm a big fan of the Power Run PB. Super light, super bouncy, super responsive, and it does the job well. But what helps complement the Power Run PB is they have the nylon plate running through the shoe. Now, Saucony says that there is a new S-type of plate that is inside of here that is supposed to create a better hug on your foot, but also a better responsiveness. And as I talked about before, there's a lot of responsiveness in this shoe, and it is primarily because the Power Run PB and the new S-frame nylon plate that they have in it. But I did want to show you over against version 2, you can actually see part of the plate here, and you see it on the inside as well. You feel it, you press, you feel the actual nylon plate here, and on version 2, you didn't have that. You had no semblance of the nylon plate here. So that's something that Saucony has done, is that they have place the nylon plate where you can visibly see it on the inside and outside of the shoe. So it must be noted that a part of the midsole with the Power Run PB, the new S-shaped nylon plate in the shoe, we have a massive increase in the stack height. So as I said before, there's 36 millimeters in the heel, 28 in the forefoot, over against the 35.5, which is a slight increase, but you can see that there is significantly more stack height on version 3 compared to version 2. I mean, a significant increase. And yet, I would say that that's where the extra weight has come, since it weighs a few ounces heavier in dealing with the big stack height there. I just want to give you guys the opportunity to be able to see that. As we flip the shoe over, we now move into the outsole. So, outsole, still very similar. We have the rubberized outsole, and wanted to show you kind of the difference. So right here is the version 2 and this is a version 3, and very similar design. You have the rubberized outsole, but there is a big difference that I wanted to note here. On the version 2, the rubberized outsole actually is a lot higher off the shoe versus the version 3. On the version 3, it seemed as if they almost made the rubberized outsole parallel with the Power Run PB foam that we have here on the shoe. So I feel like this change is going to decrease the longevity of the shoe versus the version 1s and version 2s had a slightly thicker rubberized outsole. And I'm already noticing a difference on the very bottom with decent amount of miles on the shoe already. So I'm not sure. So I would definitely say that it's very sus when it comes to the longevity of the shoe, considering that they did decrease the rubberized outsole. Additionally, too, there's something that needs to be noted. Saucony has said that there is a speed roll technology that is involved here with the Endorphin Speed 3, and I think we see all that come together with stack height, with the Power Run PB, with the S-shaped nylon plate. It seems to be what I can liken it, because I really enjoy Hoka shoes, and that is something that Hoka has done with their J-frame technology. And so Hoka, as Hoka has installed the J-frame technology to increase the rollover rate, we see the same thing that is being done by Saucony, which I think is a good thing. Everyone always wants to increase their turnover, and it's definitely a big combination when it comes to the Power Run PB and the nylon plate that is used here on the Endorphin 3. Guys, thank you so much for tuning into the channel. I hope you found the content helpful on the Saucony Endorphin Speed 3s. If you would do me a favor, hit this like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bells on so that you can be updated on when I post a new video, and comment down below. I want to hear from you. What version is your favorite of the Endorphin series? Do you like the Pros? Do you like the Speeds, version 1s, 2s, or 3s? Let's get this conversation started. And as always, guys, aim high.